Welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I am excited to take you through what I think is going to be an exciting show for tonight. Yes, I'm riding solo, but I'm here by myself. However, I also see that there's lots of flockers already pouring in, so thank you so much. We'll try to get all your comments and content on screen with us today too. So today's topic, I think it's a fun one. There's some rumors going around the NFL. We're starting to see a pattern that we saw heading into draft season last year that really impacted our ability to go get a stud that nobody thought would be there in Byron Murphy. If you recall, he was not supposed to fall to 16. We're starting to see a pattern, and maybe, just maybe, there's some draft studs that might be there for our Seattle Seahawks. So we should know who they are and discuss the possibilities. That'll be the topic of the show tonight. We do have a lot to cover. We're also going to look at it was kind of a busy day, actually, for the Seahawks. Some disappointing news, some cool news. We'll do a quick rundown of kind of a Seahawks news, look back at what's happening and what's not happening, unfortunately, for Seattle so far. And stick around to the end too, because we're gonna get through have some fun with the little 3-round mock draft, because why not already? All right, so like we said, we got a couple things we're gonna head out and do today, and thanks to everybody who is in there with us right now. Obviously, we'd love you to subscribe. YouTube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Like the video if you're watching out there. Share the video with some 12s. And please do subscribe. It helps so much more than you possibly know. And we do have our live draft party coming up at the Clearwater Casino. We're going to be there April 24th. Hit that QR code. Earl Thomas will be there. Julian Love will be there. The Seahawkers podcast will be there, and you can get a ticket to the 24th. We're going to be live streaming there on Thursday and Friday, day 1 and day 2. So we'll get to see us use all these glorious picks, because we got a lot of picks, and we're going to talk about some of that tonight. And I do want to give a special shout out to the 12s house out on Facebook. These are some new friends of ours. They have an excellent Facebook page, just chock full of good people and some continuous Seahawks content. So if you're on Facebook, 12's House is out there. We're now live streaming out to and through that channel. So shout out to them as well. All right, let us get into some content. The other day I mentioned on Twitter at Clinton Bond that one of my favorite pieces of content all year comes out from Bootleg Football. They do the 10 gems. They do offense. They do defense. The 10 gems of offense already out there. And why do I mention this? Number one, EJ Snyder is a friend, and they put out amazing content. You should go watch it. Number two of these gems that they put out, again, Bootleg Football, go check it out. 2 of those gems we just highlighted on our show, focusing on 10 possible guards that Seattle could take in the first 3 rounds. We talked about 10 dudes, and 2 of those 10 end up on Bootleg Football's top 10 offensive gems. So do the math, put it all together. There's some cool stuff to go get, I think, fired up about there. So, all right. With that, we always like to put our polls out to YouTube as well. They actually have a really great tool for that. They make it super dead simple. I love it. So we put this poll out to YouTube. I think it was like yesterday or this morning, whatever it was, basically saying, if you're John Schneider and these dudes are available, we got Tyler Booker, Donovan Jackson, and Gray Zabel from North Dakota State University, what would you do? Or you could trade back. And as you can see, kind of split across the house here. Gray Zabel is leading by just a little bit. Lots of folks want Tyler Booker, and a good chunk want to trade back. Fewer yet are saying take Donovan Jackson. If you go out to that poll, what's kind of funny is you're going to see a lot. It's diametrically opposed views such as, if we have a chance to take Tyler Booker and don't take him, like, we're absolute idiots, shame on us, all the way over to Gray Zabel is a 10-year starter in this league, plug and play, take the dude, don't overthink it. So there's quite a number of it's a really cool conversation is what it boils down to. Quite a number of opinions out there. I'm not sure you can go wrong here, and you might even be able to trade back, acquire another day 2 pick, and still get one of these 3 guys. Could be a really cool play. All right, so that is out there as well. Now, what I want to showcase is a bit of a news roundup, and So we had some news today, right? So a couple of big things. We all know that, by the way, this is not Geno Smith that's on screen here. This is now a shot of Uchenna Nwosu in his new number 7. He tweeted that just a little bit ago, looking really sharp in that number 7, I must say. We know he's given away the number 10 to Cooper Kupp. Super cool. He's also given a couple other things away, including some money to help Seattle out. And this from Brady Henderson says Uchenna's new deal from the Seahawks is 2 years, $19.5 million. Basically 6.9 of that guaranteed. The net of this is that it's a pay cut for Nwosu, and it's roughly a $9.5 million cap savings for the Seahawks in 2025. Cool. Nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. Then we get news from Seattle Sports and Michael Sean Dugar tweeting this here saying John Schneider on Seattle Sports said that Nwosu had off-season surgery. And basically, we don't know if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. It's going to be close, as they say. If we recall, when that kind of stuff would happen when Pete was here, I don't know, you get a lot of coach talk, a lot of Pete talk about, he's just got to make it back. He's got a knee thing, right? And it's kind of scary because I thought towards the end of the year that Nwosu looked really slow. He looked out of it. And I think he's a really heck of a player. I think it was a heck of a signing, the kind of signing you love to see Schneider do. His first year was fantastic. And then he's gotten bitten by the injury bug 2 years in a row, clearly still lingering. So we got some Nwosu news there. Hopefully he is healed and ready to go and effective hitting week 1. But maybe all the more reason they knew this was happening, and you go get DeMarcus Lawrence because you just need those bodies there. And of course, you got the draft coming up where you still might look at edge. You still might look at defensive tackle very, very early because there's some good talent there as well. All right, some other news as well. So go check out the Get Got podcast. Of course, that stars Marshawn Lynch and Mike Robinson. They had DK Metcalf on basically today, right? And it's good. It's 45 minutes long, super cool. If you're a Seahawks fan, go check it out anyway. They do a good job. It's fun content. The DK stuff was rather illuminating, or rather the Grubb section of the DK stuff was rather illuminating. And the quick synopsis won't give away too much. I want you to go check out their content. But the quick skinny is that in the 49er game, DK and team, the wide receivers, all knew what they had to do. He was matched up against a particular cornerback, and he knew that he had to push this cornerback. I had to kind of, get past the sticks. And Grubb kept calling things that were these little comeback plays. So this is the time where DK grabs the headset and he's getting into a screaming match with Grubb. We don't really know what's happening and what's going on. So he went on to tell that story. But the net of that story was, you could tell DK and Tyler Lockett, and it seems like many others in that locker room, had zero confidence, unfortunately, in what Ryan Grubb was doing, to the point where he's like, look, I don't understand how he doesn't know. He doesn't know that this is something we could expose with this particular corner. So I'm going to speak up. I'm going to be a leader and speak up and see if I could change his mind. And it caused a bit of a rift. He did mention that earlier in his career, he knew that he had kind of coverage in that area because Russ would be the one in the room, and Russ would not let that stuff go. Like, Russ was on it. It's kind of the impression that I got. Maybe it speaks a little bit to the DK and Geno potential rift that was there, or lack of trust as well. DK was reflective and really honored the time that he had with the Seahawks. Talked about all the great players he got to play with. Of all of it, I thought the part with Grubb was probably the most spicy, and I think something that y'all should go ahead and check out. And by the way, thanks everybody for the comments. I'll do my best to get some of them up on screen as we go as well. All right, so some other Seahawks news, which I thought was also pretty cool. We got the numbers from MVS on the left-hand side there. And again, the short version of this is basically just under a $4 million cap hit for 1 year of MVS. Whether he's considered wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, I think with that final number, it's a really solid signing, very low risk. And I've drawn the analogy of it's kind of like a specialist that you go get in the bullpen in baseball. They go do a couple of things really well, and even at age 30, we know what MVS can do. MVS can take the top off of it, can put pressures on safeties, and get the middle of the field open for now Cooper Kupp, JSN, AJ Barner, and maybe some others we'll be talking about later today. So that part on the left-hand side is cool. Going over to the right-hand side, some not so cool news. That is Tevin Jenkins. We all thought he came to Seattle. We all thought he might not leave the VMAC without a contract, meaning he'd be a Seahawk. We find out today that nope, he clearly likes that kind of orange color, sticking with that. He's going to the Cleveland Browns. I didn't see numbers yet, but Tevin Jenkins, not our guard. So I know we've all been kind of chasing that for a bit. So I figured I'd report on that as well. All right. So, thank you so much, Derek. Let's give Derek some love here as well. He says, "Hey, nice background, Clinton." Thank you very much, dude. We've done a little bit of work on the lower third, some of the stuff, trying to add a little bit of polish where we can. So, Derek, very much appreciate that, dude. All right. So that is going to bring us over to kind of our topic today, right? The big topic. And again, it's really to focus at least pretty quickly on, are there some studs out there that actually could fall to our Seattle Seahawks? And remember, last year at this time, we all wanted Byron Murphy. We were like, yeah, that would be amazing if this defensive tackle who's an absolute beast falls to us. But it was really a long shot at that point. But if you recall what happened in the 2024 draft, the first 14 dudes off the board were all offense. So it really rattled the draft in a way that I don't think anybody expected. And then the other thing that happened that's really, really kind of important as well is that in the 2024 draft, you got this quarterback mania, maybe a couple of weeks leading up to the draft, basically where we are right now. Bo Nix was not getting drafted in the first round. Even Michael Penix, he was not getting drafted in the first round. Even JJ McCarthy was like, will he be late first round? Maybe he'll make it to the second round. And of course, there was this epic run on quarterbacks. So as we're looking at this, I kind of want to share too that there were some reports today. I think it was Bleacher Report saying that the New York Jets, so they're sitting at position 7, right? A very key position as we talk about some of the mock drafts out there from some of the best in the business. And who do they have? Who do they have the Jets taking? But then Bleacher Report comes out and says that the Jets are very, very interested and maybe falling a bit more in love with Jackson Dart. Okay, we got that news. Then Shedeur Sanders has been all over from like he's going to go pick number 2 after Cam Ward all the way to he might fall out of the first round. Okay, that's a huge variance. But what are we seeing now? Now we're seeing, all right, the Giants might be all in on Shedeur Sanders. And it's gaining steam again that quarterbacks are going to be there. And meaning quarterbacks are going to be taken early. So the more quarterbacks that can be taken in the first 17 before we go, the merrier. Now there's one other wild card team here that I want to call out. So if we could think about pick 1 being Cam Ward, pick 3 being Sanders, or Sanders going maybe even to Cleveland, right? Cleveland may want to go for Sanders, although there's rumors they want to trade up and go get Cam Ward. Okay. Pick 7 being the Jets. All right. Well, you got just outside our pick, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers who, they're spending all this money on DK Metcalf. They said, I think 2 years, 2 years guaranteed, $33 million each year was his contract. So he got two full years guaranteed, which is something Seattle, by the way, just doesn't really do. Pittsburgh, to me, seems like a candidate. Just a couple of years ago, right around that pick, they took Kenny Pickett. Now, I'm not saying that was a good pick because while Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl ring, he obviously has not worked out thus far as an NFL quarterback. But they are super quarterback needy. Could they love Tyler Shuck? Could they see something in McCord or somebody else and be like, we're going to make sure we get our guy. We're going to trade we're going to trade up a little bit and just go get a quarterback. I'm just saying it's possible. And I just want folks to remember that at the same time last year, there was no way we were getting Byron Murphy, but we did. So just keep this order in mind as we look at some of these dudes. So we're going to look at three specific guys that are kind of known to be absolute studs right now that likely won't get to the Seahawks, but they could. And we're also going to go in order of them, go in order of likelihood from least likely to potential most likely. All right, here we go. So let's take this over to, if you watched the On Guard episode the other day, we talked about Armand Membu from Missouri. Now, again, some people flagged it and say, hey, he's a tackle. He's a tackle. Yes, he's a tackle. Can he play tackle in the NFL? Probably. And he probably could. However, a lot of indications and a lot of different NFL pundits out there see him more as a guard. Now, his trajectory is probably actually rising. So even though I'm making this argument that our distance to studs might collapse a little bit because there might be a bit of a quarterback run, seems like there's a possibility of at least 3 now going in the first 17 before we pick at 18. Membu is still kind of climbing the ladder. He's coming out of an unbelievable combine performance. He has really good tape. So I think in Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock, his 3.0, he actually had the Jets taking Membu at he had the Patriots. Let me see it real quick. He had, bear with me. Yeah, he had the Patriots at pick 4 taking Membu. So he's kind of actually going up the board a bit. So makes it unlikely, but still the names to know about some studs that might fall to us. A second tackle that we haven't really talked about too much because it seemed just completely improbable is Will Campbell. And you might be saying, okay, but before you throw tomatoes at me, might be saying, oh, come on, there's no way we're getting Will Campbell. Most drafts now have him going to Chicago. Chicago's picking 10th. And yes, there's some space between 10 and 18. There's some teams like the Niners, the Colts, or others, maybe the Falcons, that Will Campbell would be a real natural fit there. So again, I think the probability of Campbell is low. However, it only takes a couple of teams to do something strange. It takes a team to say, you know what, I like Tyler Booker better. They liked it, and they need a guard. And while Will Campbell, again, is a tackle and played tackle at LSU, there's a lot of folks who are like, his arms are frankly too short to be NFL tackle caliber, and he really ought to slide in and play guard. Again, will that happen and matriculate that way? We don't know, but I want to introduce these names to folks so you get a little used to them. We see some folks here too. And here we go. Studs. Thanks so much. Yes, these are studs. They absolutely are. So thank you, Fun P. And we've got Michael Knight saying Jihad McDonald. You think he'll be salivating for Jihad Campbell at 18? Michael, maybe so. I know he's a good player. I could watch tape and be like, that guy is good at football. And he's instinctive and he hits, and I like all that, Michael. I just have from a needs perspective, it's difficult. It's really difficult for me to get around the guy that might go compete with Tyrese Knight at this point. And Tyrese had a good rookie year versus, again, we had these glaring needs there. However, I'm not arguing with you, man, that Jihad Campbell, McDonald might really love him, but we just extended Ernest Jones on a really, really team-friendly contract as well. And I get it. I get what you're saying there, but I just don't see that one happening. Okay, let's see. We got Cam Robinson. You like Will Campbell, like the football mindset. Look, I think lots of teams like Will Campbell, and I don't think he's going to be there. But again, this whole exercise introducing a couple of folks that just might be if a couple things fall the right way. And in fact, the last one we'll go into, we'll talk about where he fell on a recent mock draft from a respected person. And the snail goes Grant, which is Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan, big boy. He says would be great and would free Murphy up to play the more natural 3 tech. Remember, 0 tech is like directly over the center. A 1 tech is going to be shaded towards the center and guard. 3 tech and 3 and 5, you keep moving you're widening where you are. So 0, 1, 3, 5 if you're a defensive player, right? So what the snail is saying here is, hey, if you go get Kenneth Grant, the big body from Michigan, you could let him play more of the nose, and that's going to free Byron Murphy up to go to the 3 tech and just be a bit more effective with his pass rush. We don't have, you got to remember, the player we're kind of missing, and we missed a lot last year and the year before that. But we had Hankins, but he's no longer on the team. But I would also make the strong argument that, while Hankins was good, he wasn't what we had been getting from Al Woods in those couple of years where Captain Firearms himself, Al Woods, was here. Like, he was the man. Hankins was not, he was no slouch. But right now, we don't even have that type of body really on the team. Really nobody that's played significant snaps for us so far at all. So the snail, I like your point that maybe Kenneth Grant could be that, and you're freeing up Murphy. So good point there as well. All right, let's see if there's any others there. Okay, so we got Doctrine of Jesus Christ says, did I mention I am absolutely going nutty for this upcoming draft? Yeah, us too. This is going to be so fun. We'll do a mock at the end of this, so stick around for that. But you got to tip the cap, or at least I do a little bit, to John Schneider. We're going to actually talk tomorrow night. Brandon was going to be on today, just couldn't with the family obligation, hence why I'm riding solo. But I think all three of us will be on tomorrow, including Adam, to kind of talk about John Schneider. And was all of this did he get lucky? Did it all fall into place within the madness? Or was this more carefully planned than meets the eye, and that what he kind of alludes to? With all that, 5 picks in the first 92 inside a draft where there's a lot of depth and a lot of quality in that top 100, I'm fired up for it as well. All right, so let's get to that last person. If y'all have been following along, and if not, if this is your first time with the Seahawkers podcast, again, please like the video, subscribe, share it some 12s. We appreciate it a ton. But if you have been following along, this is not just my draft crush, and what's on screen here for those listening just audio is Penn State tight end Tyler Warren. So he is my draft crush. And I realize most people are like, we need to draft a O-lineman. We need a guard. We have to do that because we have failed. John has failed to attract any of the top talent in the free agent guard market. So we got to go O-line. Have to. I hear that. What I want folks to understand that maybe don't know Tyler Warren just yet is that I believe that if you take Tyler Warren, you're adding basically George Kittle. And George Kittle is not, George Kittle is a good pass catcher. He's a very good pass catcher, but he's also an absolute beast of a blocker. And with all the condensed formations, tight formations, Cooper Kupp talked about this quite a bit, and the need to block in the Kubiak offense and how they run things that are quite condensed. AJ Barner looks to be, I think, quite a good player. I am not personally sold on Noah Fant in the Kubiak offense. I believe that in my brain, I think Noah Fant is going to be traded. I think either before or as the season gets on. He's making quite a bit of money. And with Tyler Warren, you're getting a dude who will play in line, who is an incredible blocker, likely the best or the second best blocking tight end, but he also has tremendous ball receiving skills. Over the middle, he's money. Down, outside the numbers, with really good concentration, good hands, and just awareness of his space and his feet, he's really good. Red zone, he's a big target and he's dependable. Then the other piece of Tyler Warren that I really want to just illuminate for y'all is that when Clint Kubiak was asked why, I think it was Nemhauser that asked him, why were the Saints so good in 3rd and short and 4th and short situations? And Kubiak didn't hesitate. He's like, yeah, we had a guy named Taysom Hill. And then he went on to answer it a little bit differently. But he's like, yeah, we had a guy. Just as we're talking about MVS is the stretch guy, Kubiak had Taysom Hill until I think he broke his leg, towards the end of the year there. But he had his guy that he could depend on. If you go watch some Tyler Warren tape, they run Wildcat with him quite a bit. He's a quarterback back in his day in high school. He's a lefty, throws the ball, but he is not just extremely versatile. He's good at everything. So if they want to line him up as a fullback in some plays, he's going to smash some heads. You want to do some direct snaps to him on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. He's likely going to go convert. And on top of that, add those things to what I said earlier, that he's a George Kittle-like presence out there. And then add in that ability with the 3rd and shorts and 4th and shorts and that conversion mechanism you then get. It's not just the fact that you'll probably convert. That's cool. It's how it tilts the field. And last year, when we had gotten Ryan Grubb in, we were talking on the podcast, and I said to the team, I said, look, the thing I'm most excited about with Ryan Grubb, and I ended up being just wrong. It did not happen whatsoever. But my belief was that Ryan Grubb would understand that the new NFL game is that essentially once you cross the 50-yard line and you get to 3rd and 5, even 3rd and 7 sometimes, 3rd and 4, you're running, the run play is open to you, and you're going to run the ball quite a bit out of 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, so 3rd and medium. And why is that? Because you are already pot committed to going for it on a 4th down. Changes the game so much. Did not do it last year. Obviously, Grubb is gone. Kubiak's in. Kubiak does this already with a player like Taysom Hill. He gets aggressive in this part of the field. Anyway, I spent the most time on Tyler Warren, but that's the reason. Oh, the last thing I'll say about that too is everybody says, okay, no, Tyler Warren's going to be gone. He's absolutely going to pick 14 at the Colts, or he's going, let's pull up another one. So pick 14 at the Colts is a popular one for the Colts. Oh, hey, the Cardinals may pair him up with Trey McBride, or the Bears could just hop on that and just go all offense and give Caleb another weapon with Cole Kmet. Okay, cool. Or the Saints might even hop on it at pick 9. Sure, all those things are they are possible. With that, you got Nate Tice's latest mock at Yahoo, and lo and behold, he's got other players being gobbled up by the likes of the Niners, the likes of the Dolphins, the likes of the Colts that are right before us. And who does he have at pick 18 falling into our laps? It's got Tyler Warren there. So it is possible. So I think we also have to have in our heads, let's be cheering on April 24th. Let's be cheering for QB pro days, for them to be looking amazing. And then hopefully that all results in 1 or 2 more teams panicking, if you will, and grabbing a quarterback that just a month ago or a week ago, we didn't think was going to be drafted even in the 2nd round. So that's the possibilities I want to lay out there. Let's check some of the comments as we go as well. Thank you all for dropping these in here. All right, let's see. We got Michael Knight saying, totally agree on Tyler. He needs to slip a long way. I don't see it. Michael, yep, just covered that. And again, likely, I'd say no, it's not the likely outcome that he's there at 18. With this momentum, with this stuff going towards quarterbacks, you got to remember too, one other thing happens too, right? Genti right now is projected to be the only running back that gets picked before Seattle picks. Okay, that's fine. But if you recall, the Detroit Lions, Bijan Robinson goes off the board to the Falcons, and the Detroit Lions come up and they grab Jahmyr Gibbs. And people are like, what are you doing? How could you take Jahmyr Gibbs so early? Jahmyr Gibbs is a hell of a football player. So there are some other really compelling running backs out there. And with the year that Saquon just had, Derrick Henry, of course, is still piling up. The sway of the league, the movement of the league, going back to more of a running mentality versus the 2019, 2020, 2021, just pass happy. Everything's got to be 65% pass. It's reverting. It's reverting to more 12 personnel. There's more fullback play. There's running backs matter more. They're getting bigger contracts. So don't be surprised if a running back needy team takes a dude before we pick at 18. So it's another one that could slip in there. All right, so we got, let's see, the snail saying, don't hate the idea. I'm scared of a first round tight end bust rate. Yep, understand that. The snail. There's look, the first round is still chock full of busts, period. If you hate the tight end bust rate, wait till you drive the QB bust rate in the first round because it could be even worse, right? I do think this is the Tyler Warren specifically. I do think he is the closest thing to a lock, very solid NFL player that you're going to find in this year's draft. That's what I think. Now, are there other good tight ends? Yeah, there are. And they will be available in the second round, or Loveland maybe later in the first. You got Arroyo. You got others, right? You got Taylor's kid, right, from LSU, Mason Taylor. So you have some good options. So we don't have to pull this trigger, and I'm not going to be screaming if we take an O lineman with the 18th pick. In fact, we're going to do a mock in a second, and we'll see what happens. And then we got, let's see, Fun P saying, AJ Barner really surprised me last year. He's a stud. Man, he looked really good, right? He looked really, really good. And what do we know that Kubiak is going to want to do? He's going to run 12 personnel. Now, will it be as much as he did it in New Orleans last year? Maybe so, maybe not. I think it was personnel driven, and obviously they lost tight end. I mean, they lost some wide receivers. They were very injured on the offensive line, so it made more sense for them to get more condensed and be more in 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. But man, AJ Barner became a pretty quick fan favorite towards the end of the year there. All right, let's see what this one is from Sean Scotchman, who is a newer member, joined the other day. Thank you, Sean. I saw you out on Twitter. I followed you out there because thank you. And he says, if Seattle takes Warren and we have AJ Barner, where does that leave Fant and his money? Yeah, so I had said that earlier. I don't think Fant is long for this team. Now, if they don't make a tight end move, then sure. This is just my gut at this point. I think they're going to try and move him. I think he could be a valuable piece to try and package up or to use on draft day to try and get some other player. You're not going to, you're trading him with the salary he currently gets if you are to move him. So it's not like we're going to get a huge return on Noah Fant. But there are plenty of tight end needy teams out there. And he still has a first round pedigree, and he still puts up enough tape that I think all it takes is one, right? All it takes is one offensive coordinator to say, he's got special traits. I could still use him, and they make a trade. I could see this being some sort of a swap type thing where maybe we deal like a 4th and Noah and we get back into day 2, something like that. But it's a great question. I don't think, and I also think if they do take Warren this early, it's a surefire sign that they're going to look to move Fant. But really, really cool question. So appreciate that. All right. So I think that takes us through the 3 guys we were looking at today. So we looked at Membu. Highly unlikely it'll be Membu. That's fine. Will Campbell, less unlikely, but you never know, and a really good name to watch. If Will Campbell is there, and you could basically plug him in where you're looking at Cross, Campbell, call it Olu, maybe Haynes, and a healthy Abe, completely changes things. But also Tyler Warren changes things too. We spend quite a bit of time on Tyler, but we did that on purpose. All right. So folks, we're going to mock the Casbah. We're going to do a little mock draft here. So why not? And if you guys have some ideas, let's play along. You can play GM with me because that'll be fun. And I got queued up right here. And let me just clear the screen. All right. Okay. A lot of screens going, folks. And the one I closed out was where it was. So bear with. All right. So we're going to start the draft. Let me know who you want as we go. We'll discuss just a 3-round mock. And here we go. Hopefully everybody could see it clearly enough. Names off the board. Membu to 10. Tyler Booker goes to 14. Let's hide this for a second because I want to see who went off the board with y'all. So Matthew Golden goes to the Cardinals to pair him with Marvin Harrison and company. James Pierce to the Bengals. Right, so Kelvin Banks is gone. Malachi Starks over to the Niners. Membu's off the board. Genty. Okay, they got Will Campbell going all the way up to 3. Totally fine. But what name? And Tyler Warren. Okay, so Tyler Warren going 15 would break my heart, and I'm a little bit sad about that, and I'm a little bit crestfallen. That's just how I feel. But it is what it is. I would love that for Michael Penix, and I would love that for the Falcons. Boy, would he be good. All right, so let's look at some names that we got here. Tet McMillan is the wide receiver out of Arizona that has now fallen to us. Walker, the linebacker from Georgia's there. Imawari, the safety that's getting a lot of love. Jahad Campbell is there. You got Barron, the very popular corner from Texas as well. And if we want to just go look at the problem we probably need to go solve, let's look at guard and let's look at tackle. So Josh Simmons falls all the way down. Now, this is a tackle, and we don't need a tackle, right? But an Ohio State big man that, for all intents and purposes, in most drafts is off the board at this time, but he's there. And then, of course, we got the usual suspects. We got Gray Zabel. We got Donovan Jackson. And if we want to look at center, too early for center, but Jared Wilson is the number one with a bullet, and he's there as well. So let's look back in the chat. Is there a particular one that you guys would like most in round one? Any takers to want to throw them in there? We'll look at that together. If I don't see any, I will go make a selection. All right, just looking at who's still there for QB. All right, Michael's saying Jahad Campbell. I am not going to take Michael. I appreciate it. I don't want a linebacker. I don't want a linebacker. The snail said hit rate about first rounders and being wary of first round tight ends. Yeah, first round linebackers can be even tougher. Colston Loveland sitting there. He's starting to become a popular name. If we do want to go tight end, completely different tight end than Tyler Warren, but darn good. We got, let's see over here. We have Slarty Bogarty. That rhymes. Just saying, hey, go take OL. And the snail saying, is Grant there? Let's go look. Let's go look on the defensive side. And let's go to defensive tackle. Harmon, Williams. Yes, Kenneth Grant's still there, but a few others are on the board before him. Walter Nolan as well. I wouldn't hate Kenneth Grant. Let's examine the trades real quick and see if we have any of those. Jacksonville wants us to trade back quite a bit. I'm not very comfortable with that. That's to me, that's too far back. They want pick 30. They want to swap 18 for 36 and 70 essentially in a 2026, which don't really care about 2026 for now. Jets with something similar. So I'm going to say no to those things. So we'll reject that. Now, what I would want to do is really trade back with like the Broncos, something like that. But for the sake of time and for us to move on, I'm going to go chalk. I am going to go chalk. I'm going to go offensive line. I'm going to go to tackle. And, well, I guess they have him as guard. I'm going to go to guard. And I am not afraid that Gray Zabel is from a small school. I don't care. And I don't care that people might say you're overdrafting at the guard position, because there's so many good examples of high caliber guards. Look at the Indianapolis Colts many years ago now. And people told them that they were overdrafting at guard. And now they have a Hall of Fame projecting guard on their roster, still with the Colts, still kicking butt. And they said they overdrafted him. I just don't believe in that term. I don't believe in the term that you could overdraft a guy who's really good and that you could project as a decade-long starter at a position of incredible need. So with our pick, I'm taking Gray Zabel. All right, let's resume. So we got Gray Zabel. Thank you for all the contributions and asks there. Appreciate that. And let's see, we are going to be up on pick 50. Let's just reject for now. We got 50 and 52. We'll reject that one. If that wasn't a 2026 third, I'd consider it, but we're not going to play that game right now. All right. So we take a guard first, and let's go see who's there at tight end. All right. So we still got Mason Taylor, who I'm a big fan of. Fannin, smaller school. He's getting some buzz, but I really do like Mason Taylor quite a bit. So that's interesting to me. Quarterback, I'm not. I know Jackson Dart's sitting there. I'm also not interested in getting a quarterback at this point, and I don't think he's going to be there. I wouldn't mind getting a quarterback in the first 5 picks, but not yet. So we looked at tight end, good possibilities there. Wide receiver could be interesting, right? And Higgins is a real popular one. I know that, but we're also picking a 52. So I think one of those dudes would be there. All right, let's look over here. So guards are, let's see, no QB yet. Yeah, Sean, no QB yet for me. Charlie the Unicorn saying D-line or cornerback. All right, let's go over there and take a peek. Let us go take a peek. So you got Amos, Landon Jackson's out there. There's some names we're hearing more and more. I don't have a particular favorite on that side there. Defensive tackle, Alfred Collins is a beast. I would not mind Alfred Collins. Norman Lott is getting lots of love. So there's still some dudes there. Again, we're picking a 52. And edge, you can never really have enough edge. All right. And quarterback. All right. Any names out there that you see that you'd want? Great comment here. The snail, second round needs to be a running back for realism. Definitely. And we got Charlie saying if Higgins makes it out of the first, worth the pick. I'm assuming you mean wide receiver from Iowa State. Jaden Higgins, he's still there. With signing Cooper Kupp, look, he's a good player. Big boy, 6'4". Great hands and stuff like that. So I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate it. And we got Spock saying for edge, Tyler Batty or Beatty from BYU is an excellent choice. All right. Let's put a pin in that one because we got some other picks. Would folks be open to double dipping in the position of need? Quick yes or no. Would folks want Tate Ratledge and just go get 2 guards? Any yeses out there for Tate? All right. So let's make a choice here. I really like what Mason Taylor brings. I also like going offense in this draft early, seeing as I think McDonald's done a real nice job with loading up his defense. So I'm going to take Mason Taylor here. Again, this is a Hall of Fame Dolphins edge, Jason Taylor's son out of LSU. If you haven't watched him yet, real smooth. Nate Shute says, no. Well, Nate, yes, we're here. We took it. All right. We are also now looking at a couple of trades. We're right up on 52. We don't want that because basically just don't want that. All right, folks. So Fun P saying take a second guard or a tackle. And Zach is saying, I hate tight ends with the first 4 picks. Hate. Well, we got one, but we're right back up on it. So I think it's time we can look over on defense, boys and girls. And, we may have a needed safety. We do have a needed safety currently, unless we go sign one. We need a third safety. We need to get depth in that room. I know that Ransom has become quite a player that folks are looking at. Kevin Winston, to me, is very interesting. I don't think he's getting talked about a lot, but my understanding of Winston is that his 2023 tape and film at Penn State is lights out good. And then he had an injury. He suffered a pretty bad injury in 2024, but before the injury, he was playing lights out again. So anybody averse to us grabbing a safety with this next pick? Any takers? Dogzilla saying, "Where the hell is Adam?" Yeah, Adam couldn't make it tonight either, so we're just having some fun. But he's here. He's here in spirit. Okay, so that's the whole offense. Any other suggestions? Because I think going defense and getting a safety is not a bad play at this point. Because I do believe we need one. Barrett Carter's a popular name as well. And again, you really can never go wrong with just getting more beef in the middle. But I see some dudes down here that I think are still quite good. All right, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to go with Kevin Winston. Take a bit of a risk on a guy that got injured, but who was quite good. Okay, we're back up on it now. We're going to reject anything like that because we're not picking. All right, pick 82. So far we've kind of spread the chips around. Let's look at defensive tackle. Look, between either of these guys, I think beefing up the middle is always a good play. So between that and looking back at double dipping at another guard or tackle, which I would like to do, there's two dudes right there I would not mind taking a swing at. Dylan Fairchild or Jackson Slater. Dylan Fairchild, we covered him on the guard show. Incredible story, like 67-0 as a Georgia wrestler, and then kind of gets to football. Played football, but kind of ascends in football a little bit late. But an incredible athlete who is now ascending as a guard. So that could be really interesting. All right, so center or offensive guard is what Charlie's calling for. Let's look at center and let's see. All right, Jared Wilson's off the board. There's still some guys here. McLaughlin from Ohio State, Jonah Monheim, and Jake Majors. They tend to be the four that go along with them. And we have one more pick coming up, so I think we could reserve center there. I do not mind at all going back to defense. I don't mind taking either of these guys. Either Collins, look, this beefy boy we talked about earlier, you want to give me a 6'5", 32-pound piece of Texas beef. The snail called it out earlier that if we get that super big body in the middle, it really could free up Byron Murphy to kind of go be the top dog Byron Murphy that we think it can be. So I'm going to take Alfred Collins here with that philosophy. Snail, that one's for you, bud. There you go. He says, yes, a true nose tackle. That's exactly right. All right. So our last pick, we're not going to trade out because we want to stay in this round. I think we just go back to offense. I think for me, guys, double dipping in interior O-line, whether that's center or guard or a tackle you believe will swing in the first 5 picks, getting 2 of them, I can't be mad at that. In fact, I like it in many, many ways. So to keep it simple and end this, I'm just taking a Georgia Bulldog. Georgia, they raised these guys the right way, right? So you got Jared Wilson at center, you got Tate Ratledge at one of the guards. I'm going to take Dylan Fairchild and call it a day. And that'll wrap us up with our first 5 picks there. So hope folks like it. I know it's a bit of a different feel and maybe some names you haven't seen just yet, but I look at this and go, I need one of Gray Zabel or Dylan Fairchild to emerge as our left guard. In my brain, Christian Haynes takes a step forward. If they're both awesome and they're both our guards and they're awesome, great. That's amazing. Also, with Gray Zabel, you get the flexibility that he could play center. He's shown he could play center. I think Olu can go do the job. I think he proved it. I think he was a man last year and just said few words when they kind of kicked him out of the position that he thought was his. And then when it was his time to get back in there, he went and did a job. So I like Olu. But if Zabel can, up level that, so be it. Mason Taylor, for those that don't like tight ends early, Kubiak does. And he's really smooth. Way different than Tyler Warren. I would have taken Tyler Warren at 18, if you don't know by now. But just go out to the YouTube. Watch the U-tape, as Adam would call it, and go check out Mason Taylor. I think you'll be really excited by what you see there. And remember, too, he might have went 50. We could have maybe taken him at 52, maybe even at 82, but I doubt it. 52, we're taking a little bit of a risk on a safety, but I think is quite good, but coming off injury, but from a great school, and he's a good hitter, he's a good safety. So that's Kevin Winston. Then we get some beef. We get Texas beef, Alfred Collins at defensive tackle. That fires me up. And we finish this off by double dipping with the Georgia guy. So I think we did pretty good. Different, maybe not as sexy because we don't have the wide receivers in here, and I understand that, but I think it's a useful draft. All right, so I hope that was fun for everybody there. And I was supposed to remind us that we also have that draft order. All right, so tomorrow, Brandon and I, and I think Adam, we're going to hop on and we're going to get back to the regularly scheduled one that we were going to do tonight, which was going to be this dive into maybe John Schneider's mindset. Like, was this actually all set in motion and planned by John Schneider? Reminder, we'll be out at the Clearwater Casino for the draft. It's going to be several hundred of our favorite folks out there, favorite 12s. Big draft party, buffet, hit the QR code. Seahawks legends will be there doing autographs. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be live streaming from there for 2 days straight. Again, big shout out to the 12s house over on Facebook. So the 12s house, if you're on Facebook, go give that page a follow. Some really good dudes, and really happy to be a content partner with them and stream out to their people because we love that. We appreciate that a ton. And of course, like and subscribe. It helps so much more than you know. Everybody, I hope you had a fun time with that. I really appreciate all the great comments the entire way through. One thing that really helps is when the live stream is over, go out to YouTube and drop a comment after the live stream is over. Really juices the algorithm and again helps us in ways that we really appreciate. So, all right, folks, until next time, I think there's only one thing left to say. Go Hawks.